مشاهدينا في كل مكان، اهلا بيكم. احنا معاكم النهارده داخل سفارة جمهورية بولندا لدى جمهورية مصر العربية. لقائنا اليوم هيكون مع القائم باعمال بولندا السيد ميهاو. هنتحدث عن دولة بولندا وهنتحدث عن أبرز المعادن الموجودة في الدولة، بالإضافة لما يميزها من قطاعات مختلفة، سواء كانت في السياحة أو في المشغولات اليدوية أو غيرها من الموضوعات المتعلقة بالشعب البولندي. لو عايزين تعرفوا أكتر تابعونا وهذا اللقاء. مشاهدينا في كل مكان، احنا معاكم النهاردة داخل سفارة بولندا لدى جمهورية مصر العربية. لقائنا مع القائم بالأعمال السيد ميهاو. Your Excellency, please first allow me to thank you so much for this meeting.
مساء الخير. Good evening to all of our viewers.
Actually, it's very nice that you started by talking with the audience in Arabic language, which gonna make me to ask about more things about Egypt here. And how long have you been here, Your Excellency, in Cairo?
I have been in Cairo in Egypt 2.5 years already, so I'm not a newcomer, but I'm not very experienced either. I have been serving in Polish diplomatic service for around 20 years with some experience abroad.
Can you tell us more about your diplomatic stations before coming here?
Yes, Egypt is actually my fourth diplomatic posting. Before Egypt, I worked in Kazakhstan, which was the first country. I served there as a young diplomat for 5 years almost, and enjoying first diplomatic adventure. Then it was Belarus, our neighbor, very important country from a Polish point of view. Then one of key centers of power in the world, Russia. And after Moscow, I came to serve here in Cairo.
So this is your first Middle East country to go to?
Yes, this is my first Middle East country, although I have to admit that I was very much eager to work in the Middle East, maybe even dreaming about Middle East during previous postings.
Usually we start by talking about the geographic nature of the country that we are already here in. So please, can you tell us more about Poland and the nature of Poland?
Yes, that's an extremely broad topic, I have to say, although Poland is 3 times smaller than Egypt. But nevertheless, Poland is a country in Central Europe. Very diverse one, I have to say, with really diversified landscapes. We have a sea, which is on the north side of Poland, so it tends, unfortunately, to be pretty cold comparing to Middle East, to Mediterranean Sea, not to mention Red Sea. We have mountains in the south, which are extremely popular tourist destinations, not only for Poles, but also for people from elsewhere, including tourists from many Arab countries. We have a variety of well-preserved natural landscapes, historical forests, lakes, beautiful cities, so it's quite diverse and I would say well structured and well-built country.
Can you please tell us more about the Polish people? Can we talk about the tradition and also the custom, if there is any certain custom for the country?
Yes, thank you for that question, because it's another very broad topic. Poland is inhabited by around 40 million people, most of them of Polish nationality and Polish origin. Due to our complicated history, the traditions play a really significant part in everyday life of Poles of Poland. We are meeting right now in January, right after the Christmas period, which is actually one of the most rich in tradition periods of yearly life of Polish people. These few days of Christmas at the end of December, that's, I would say, the main pillar for the whole year, in a sense that a lot of things happen that are allowed, that are happening only once a year. For example, probably the most popular and the most I would say strong tradition, well preserved in Poland, is the dinner, the very sumptuous dinner on the 24th of December called Wigilia, as a preparatory for celebrating Christmas with 12 dishes, very specific one, with no meat, only vegetarian food. With whole family usually around the table celebrating, starting to celebrate Christmas. And for example, a tradition inside tradition is that around the table usually there is one spare seat for a wanderer, for a poor person. Who, if needed, can be served at our table. Kind of good tradition that makes us remember that we are all equal people. We are all gathered around one table, no matter whether rich or poor, as members of a community.
That's so nice. That's so great. And actually, it makes us feel like the family is a big base in the Polish citizen or Polish society.
That's true. The familiar values in Poland are really deeply rooted. I think that's a similarity in Egypt, with Egypt actually. These ties between generations, ties with our ancestors, knowledge about our ancestors, this is, I think, something that makes us, in a sense, unique among Europeans.
Takes us to ask about the tourism section. I want to know what distinguishes the tourism section in Poland. And of course, what is the most important tourist destination?
Mm-hmm. It very much depends on actually on the tourists, on people who visit Poland. On one hand, we have a number of, so to say, natural places with, as I told at the beginning, with well-preserved nature, with very few, so to say, signs of civilization. If I may say so. So for people who want to leave the city and to visit some really natural landscape, the eastern part of Poland, for example, Podlasie region close to border with Belarus, this is kind of must-see in terms of nature. In terms of culture, we have several cities that are listed on a UNESCO list, for example. Our beautiful ancient capital of Krakow, where I can admit I studied for several years at the university. We had mountains for lovers of trekking and climbing. They are not as huge as Alps, but still well over 2,000 meters high makes them a good destination for visit. And actually the capital of Tatra Mountains, Zakopane, has become recently quite popular among visitors from Arab countries.
It's considered one of the largest producer and exporter of amber. So can we talk about this? And also I would like to know more about the most important industries that's found in Poland.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so amber. Amber actually was, it's one of the treasures of Poland. It originated millions of years ago. It's a ossified or solidified resin of pine trees from Northern Europe. It has been considered an item of value, a precious stone since centuries. Even in Egypt, during Ptolemaic times, for example, we know from Greek historians that amber was important here, actually, from the Baltic Sea. So that's the first linkage between Poland and Egypt, already almost 2,000 years old. And yes, until now, amber makes one of our really unique peculiarities, precious items and brands of Poland. Each year in Gdańsk, one of cities in Poland, in the northern part of Poland, close to the Baltic Sea, trade of St. Dominic is being held. It's 2 weeks of August. And the buyers, the sellers, but first of all probably artisans working in amber are present there. You can buy, you can look at really precious items, jewelry, but also ornaments, even some warehouse items made of amber that are sold there. So it's really something that we can be proud of, and it's actually not a very complicated thing to grasp amber. You know, at the Baltic Sea coast, especially after some severe storm. Within the next 1 or 2 days, when the sea is throwing the amber to the beach, you can see plenty of people actually going there and looking for and finding amber on a seaside. So it's kind of also a national, if I may say, hobby, maybe.
Yeah. Plus, something else we want to talk about or to know about. What is the ceramic festival is about? And this name for us is what is ceramic festival? You have a festival just for ceramic components. So can you tell us more about
yes,
this?
We have ceramic festivals in Poland. Actually, it's consistent of a few smaller events under one roof of a festival of ceramic, because one of the brands that Poland is famous for, it's ceramic. We have actually in front of us 2 cups with typical Polish patterns. If I may show also a plate, that's a plate in a shape of a Christmas tree. But
the drawing is very nice. And
yes, most of them are handmade with teams of artisans making all these ornaments by hand. So you can hardly find 2 identical piece of things. This is one of the things that we try to preserve, really looking at the manual work of artisans,
it's
of
nice
masters.
Handcraft,
It's
can
really
consider as a handcraft,
exactly.
yes.
It's really a handcraft. Only, of course, the form is made in the oven, but everything which is added to the form, or which is based on the form, it's handmade. And we know that it's actually popular among tourists visiting Poland as a gift, as something original to be brought.
From the industry to the cinema.
To the cinema.
Yes,
Okay.
the Polish cinema is well known with a very unique style, for its unique style. So please tell us more about this.
Yes, Polish cinema, it's a history in a sense that it throughout the years after the Second World War, it somehow reflected our history, our national spirit, the life of the society. We have a lot of comedies, a lot of series, but what is distinguishing, I think, our cinema is the fact that in each historical period it reflected the certain phase of development of society. I mean, the cinema that says what for the society is important, what the society is living with several renowned, started with Roman Polanski, then with Andrzej Wajda, Jerzy Kawalerowicz, Krzysztof Kieślowski, until recent productions, also with very I have to say, with very strong social glimpse of subjects.
So the reflections that it adds, it's the main thing that makes it really unique and has a stamp on the people.
That's the stamp. Our cinema is pretty, I would say, focusing on these internal words of heroes rather than on the form. So these are pretty simple films as far as form is considered. It might be even black and white cinema, but still it makes you focus, it makes you concentrate not on the picture but on what is behind the picture, on the hero, on his or her life, feelings, emotions, psychological traits, and that's, I think, what makes this cinema moving and kind of universal throughout generations. I can easily get back to films from 50s or 60s and still they are understandable. It means that they are about something universal.
Of course, I would like to ask also about the position of women in Poland. So can you tell us more about the role of women in Poland?
Yes. Actually, that's a very interesting topic because we have a lot of famous, well-known women in all spheres of life of society. Not only in the spheres that might associate with women, like arts, for example, or fine arts, cinema, theater, culture in general, but also, for example, science. Here in the hall of the embassy, we have, for example, a portrait of Marii Skłodowska-Curie, who was the first woman Nobel Prize laureate in the world in 1903 and 1911. and the first woman until now who got 2 Nobel Prizes in 2 disciplines, one in physics and one in chemistry. So that's, I think, one of the personalities that needs to be told about and remembered.
Excellency, thank you so much for having us today, and also it was so nice and interesting to have all this information about the Republic of Poland.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you all enjoyed. شكرا جزيلا.
مشاهدينا في كل مكان، وبكده انتهى لقائنا معاكم اليوم. كنا داخل سفارة جمهورية بولندا لدى جمهورية مصر العربية. لقائنا كان مع القائم بالأعمال ببولندا السيد ميهاو هابروس، وتحدثنا عن بولندا كدولة، وتحدثنا أيضا عن الطبيعة الجغرافية ليها، بالإضافة لأبرز نقدر نقول المعادن الموجودة فيها، وهو كان الكهرمان وغيرها من الموضوعات الهامة الخاصة بدولة بولندا. بشكركم جدا لحسن متابعتكم لينا، واشوفكم في حلقة قادمة. إلى اللقاء.